Hey everybody, I'm Jacob Castro and welcome to another live stream here on Jacob's Aquarium. Hope you guys are doing good and hope your tanks are doing good. Welcome everybody in the chat room. I hope you guys are doing good as well. We will get to your questions in just a bit, but now it is time for my opening statement for the live show. So, as you guys know, I just got a new tank, the ADA 75P, which contrary to what people have been saying, because of what the title of, or what the name suggests of this tank, it is not 75 gallons. It is 40 gallons. So I don't know why they call it the 75P. That's just what they call it, but it's 40, not 75 gallons. So I got a new tank. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's like the best tank I've ever owned in my entire life. And now that I have the tank, I have to decide what I'm going to be using for this tank. And that's kind of the hard part because, you know, this is an ADA tank. I don't want to throw a bunch of ugly equipment inside of it. You know, I want to maintain the overall aspect of, you know, the beauty of this tank, you know. So I, of course, want to use glass filter intakes and outtakes, but of course I have to have a canister filter in order to do that, or use a canister filter with this tank to use those glass things. I want to use an ADA filter. I want to, you know, use ADA soil. The thing is that all these ADA products are so expensive. Okay. Like, for example, a canister filter, which I will bring that up right now on ADA's website. A canister filter from ADA, you know, it's made very, very well. Don't get me wrong, but it is astronomically expensive for the average Aquarius, as I like to think of myself as. So for my tank, the 75P, I'm pretty sure the one that I would need would be a 45 centimeter tank. Yeah, right here. So $665. This is the canister filter that I would need for my tank. This is the one that's rated for my tank. I mean, look at it. It's a beautiful filter. You know, it's made out of steel. You know, it looks great. But $665? Dang, I don't know if I could justify that. That is a lot of money to spend on a filter. So if I were to do an all ADA tank here, you know, that's just for the filter alone, $665. Now, if we get into, let's say, the substrate, which, by the way, for some reason, the ADA soil has been sold out on their website for the longest time. I don't know why. If we get into the substrate, $48 a bag. Okay, $47.99. Let's call it $48. $48 a bag. I probably need about 2 of these for my tank. Okay. We're probably upwards of close to $750, almost $800 now. Okay. Let's get into CO2. So CO2 glassware. Okay, bubble counter, $70 for a bubble counter. Okay, for the diffuser, the ceramic disc diffuser, $135. Whoa. Okay, drop checker okay, you know what, guys, the list really does just go on and on. Okay, so if I were to do an all ADA tank, I'm looking at spending close to probably $2,000 on this whole setup. And do I really want to do that? Not really. So I've been having trouble deciding on what I'm going to use for this new tank. Because like I said, I don't want to put a bunch of ugly equipment in it. I want to maintain the beauty of it, but it's so hard to do that without using just ADA products. So I'm going to do my best. I have some things picked out so far for the tank that are much cheaper, but obviously not as good as the ADA stuff, but will still work. I'm going to be using a power filter, an aqua clear power filter for the filtration. I'll be using ADA soil for sure, because I want to definitely use ADA soil. For lighting, I'll be using two Castle A160 lights because I already have those, so I don't have to buy them. Makes it easy, simple, you know. I did have to actually buy two A series gooseneck mounts though because I didn't have any of those. Or actually, I did, but something happened. They got all messed up when I moved everything to the nursery. So I'll be using that for lighting, and for the plants, I really want to use tissue culture plants, but then again, they're so expensive. They're like $10 per little cup, and you know, I can get so many more regular plants for far less, you know, as you guys know, because they're sell plants. I'm a aquatic plant retailer, so I could get a lot of, you know, plants, but I really wanted to use tissue culture plants because I've never done a tank with tissue cultures, but it's just so expensive. So I'm still deciding on the plants, but pretty much I know for sure I won't be using all ADA products. This won't be an all ADA tank because as you guys have just seen, the cost of that is astronomical. At least it is for me. I mean, I honestly cannot justify spending that much money on a tank or, you know, on equipment for a tank like that. Okay. So that's pretty much it. That's what I thought I would discuss to open up the live show. So now how about we get to your questions? Okay, we're already getting a lot of them actually coming in. So somebody's saying explain tissue culture plants. Somebody actually already did. They said they're snail and disease free. That's absolutely right. So tissue culture plants are plants that are propagated in a lab under sterile conditions so that there's no risk that the plants will have algae on them. They won't have snails on them. They won't have any pests on them pretty much. They're very, very pure. But with all that labor and all that time spent to grow tissue culture plants in a laboratory out of all places comes cost. So tissue culture plants typically are more than 3 times the cost of a traditional aquarium plant. Not to mention, you don't get as much in a tissue culture cup versus a regular aquarium plant. For example, I'll bring up my site. This is so cool. I can now show you guys what I'm looking at on my computer. Isn't that awesome? We'll bring up my site, jacobsaquarium.com. You can see my ugly mug on the front page. We will go to, how about we just go to Lewigia, for example. So Lewigia is a really popular plant that I sell. I sell a lot of it. As you can see, I have 3 in stock right now, 3 bundles, but I started out with like well over 50 at the beginning of the week. It's absolutely crazy. Well, actually, I shouldn't say the beginning of the week. I should say the beginning of last week, because today's Monday. Am I right? Is it Monday? Yes, it is. So, for example, I sell this plant in a bundle of typically 5 stems. I don't say on my website, you know, that this is a bundle of 5 stems because sometimes when I get bundles of plants from my distributors, there will be 6, 7, sometimes 4 or 5 stems. So the number of stems really isn't guaranteed to me, so I can guarantee that to my customer. So I just put sold as a bundle. Either way, you're getting more than just 1 stem for sure, and more than 3 and more than 4. I can guarantee you that. And usually, you know, the bundles are a good, I would say 5, 6 inches tall. You will never, ever, ever get a tissue culture plant that big. Never, ever. Which, by the way, I wanted to mention really quick. If you guys haven't signed up for my newsletter on my website yet, please do so because you guys can get updates and special offers and news about things that are going on with the Jacobs Aquarium Empire. You can do that by going to jacobsaquarium.com/newsletter right here. Okay. So with a traditional aquarium plant, you get so much more of the plant than you would if you were to buy it as a tissue culture. So, you know, the benefits are you get a very pure plant, free of snails, free of pests, free of algae, but you don't get that much of it, and it's so much more expensive. So, I mean, if you can justify that, if that works for you, great. But for me, I'd rather just use regular plants. I just rather would use regular plants and like pack my new tank with regular plants, big, tall, beautiful plants, and just let them grow. Yeah, the tank will have snails. Yeah, there might be a little bit of algae growth in the beginning of the tank's life, but is it really a big deal? Is it really a big deal that there's snails in the tank? No. To me, it adds a natural look to it, because it's like when you see a planted tank that's just so pristine, so beautiful, like nothing is out of place. There's like not a little speck. There's no little critters crawling around, no shrimp, no snails, no, nothing. It looks too artificial to me. When you look at a planted tank that has snails, has shrimp, or maybe a tiny little bit of algae growing somewhere in the tank, it looks so much more natural. Some people though are just very picky and very particular, and they just want a perfect planted tank. So you can definitely achieve that with tissue cultures, but you'll be spending a ton of money. So somebody's saying you can double the number of Ludwigia repens in 2 to 3 months. That is absolutely correct. So if you're looking for a plant that you can actually just propagate yourself in a short amount of time, Ludwigia repens will be perfect because it grows so fast. I mean, even in a tank with minimal light, minimal nutrients, which I've grown Ludwigia repens, for example, that variety of Ludwigia, in a tank like that, even still it's taken off. So it doesn't really need like CO2 and highlight to really take off. It's just one of those plants that just grows in a multitude of, different environments. So, okay, let's get to some more questions here. Are there any plants that you suggest that will survive with a rock bottom? So I assume you're talking about just gravel. And in that case, yes, there are pretty much, you can grow any plant in just pure gravel, and not nutrient rich planted take substrate. Because that's what I do. All the plants that I have in my nursery in my 600-gallon pond, if you haven't seen my pond yet, check out my channel. There's plenty of videos about it. I use pure silica sand in that pond. I do not use any type of nutrient rich substrate. But here's what I do. Because there's no nutrients in the substrate, I just dose a lot of nutrients into the water, and I also inject CO2. So you can grow pretty much any plant in just gravel or just rock or whatever, but you have to substitute that loss of nutrients in a different way. You have to give your plants nutrients in a different way than what they would rely on in your substrate. Now, having said that, I will say that there are some plants that are very, very heavy root feeders. And what I mean by that is they really absorb a lot of nutrients through their roots, and they really do prefer planted tank substrates. So if you were to grow those plants in just gravel, they may not grow as fast. You might experience really slow growth with those plants, but will they stay alive? Absolutely. They just won't grow to their full potential as quickly as they would in a tank if they were planted in a tank with good nutrient rich planted tank substrate. But you can definitely grow any plant in just gravel or sand. You just have to substitute the way the plant gets nutrients, since they're not getting nutrients from the substrate. Okay. If I remove 50% of the water, remove the fish that are in there, add gravel, fill it up, and put the fish in, will the bioload in the tank crash? Most likely. Yeah, because when you remove, okay, you're saying remove 50% of the water, remove the fish that are in there, add gravel. Oh, okay. Well, wait a minute. Are you starting with are you talking about just a bare bottom tank? You have no substrate in there currently, and you want to just add gravel? Because if that's the case, you can definitely do that. Because if you have substrate in there already, and you're removing all that to put new substrate, well, the tank will definitely recycle, because you're taking out a lot of good beneficial bacteria that's in the substrate. So, yeah, it would definitely have to cycle again. But if you're just adding substrate to a bare bottom tank, it's an established bare bottom tank. Okay, so yeah, in that case, no, that would not crush your biological bacteria. That would not recycle your tank. It would actually benefit your tank, because now you're giving your tank a lot more areas for biological bacteria to grow on. Since you just have a bare bottom tank now, and you're going to add gravel or substrate to it. So no, should be fine. Have you ever thought of getting jellyfish? I would love to keep immortal jellyfish. Never heard of that before. Named for its power to go back to its polyp state, aka baby state, if it is sick, hurt, or threatened. Oh, wow, that's interesting. I actually have never considered owning jellyfish. I've seen plenty of tanks on YouTube of people that have kept jellyfish, and they're actually really cool. In fact, if you guys go to youtube.com, I'm going to pull it up for you guys right now. If you go to youtube.com/LA Fish Guy, this guy makes awesome videos. I'm a huge fan of his videos. He actually has made a video about a jellyfish aquarium. Now, it would probably take me a while to find it. Let me see, jellyfish. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Peanut butter and jellyfish. That's a good name. I like that. That's funny. Okay, well, yeah. So if you could go visit LA Fish Guy, his YouTube channel, he's actually made some videos on a jellyfish tank, because I'm pretty sure, from what I remember, he was actually involved in creating or developing a tank especially for jellyfish. So go check out his videos. You can definitely see what jellyfish are all about in a in an aquarium on his channel, because he's made plenty of videos about it. But yeah, jellyfish are cool. I've seen plenty of them in videos on LA Fish Guy's YouTube channel, and the tanks that he has them in it's really cool, because the tanks have lights over them that change color, and since the lights are changing color, it looks like the jellyfish are changing color. It's just really interesting. So you have to see it to really know what I'm talking about. But yeah, somebody is already mentioning that jellyfish are they sound difficult to keep, and yeah, you're absolutely right. All the videos I've seen on his channel that talk about owning jellyfish and the maintenance required and things like that, it does seem like jellyfish are pretty demanding creatures to take care of. So I'm not really a big saltwater guy, and so I probably won't ever own them, but it's nice to watch them on YouTube for sure. So what about growing plants from seeds? Well, that's actually how I started out when I was just a baby, when I was just a little baby. Yeah. My first experience with growing plants was growing them from seeds. My mom actually bought me a packet of seeds from Walmart, and I grew them in a 10-gallon goldfish tank. And to this day, I still cannot remember what plant that was that I grew, but it looked like some type of crypt, maybe, I'm not sure, or something else. I don't even know if cryptocoryons grow from seeds, but yeah, there's definitely plants that grow from seeds. There's a lot that grow from bulbs as well. I have several growing in my pond right now. The most common bulb type plants are called Aponogeton plants. The most famous one would be the Madagascar lace plant. That plant is really awesome. I think it looks incredible once it grows really big. So that would be a bulb plant. But yeah, there's tons of plants you can grow from seeds. I just can't think of them right now. As much as I know about plants, I don't know about every plant out there, Can regular baby tears grow without a heater in regular room temperature? You know what? Pretty much with any aquatic plant, you can grow them in a tank without a heater. The only reason you would need a heater is if you're like trying to grow plants in a tank that's outside, that's experiencing 30-degree temperatures. Like me, I'm trying to grow plants in a pond that's that's outside in a greenhouse. So I have to heat my water because the water just does not stay neutral enough. But if you're growing aquatic plants in a home, in a tank that's inside a home, where the temperature is going to stay relatively stable around 65, 70, even 75 at the highest, you definitely don't need a heater. It's only when the tank gets down to those extreme temperatures, like 40, 55, that's when, plants can really slow down in growth and, not really grow that well. The only reason you'd actually need a heater if you can't maintain a neutral temperature in a planted tank without one is pretty much just for fish. If you're gonna have neon tetras in your planted tank, for example, you definitely need a heater because they're tropical fish. But other than that, if you're just gonna do just plants alone and maybe some cold water fish like minnows, you don't need a heater at all, because aquatic plants do not require a heater because they can tolerate temperature fluctuations from 60 degrees to 80 degrees. I've grown plants in a tank that's gotten as high as 85, 90 degrees, and you can't keep the tank that hot for too long because the plants will definitely start to melt after 6-7 hours. But yeah, plants can tolerate a wide variety of temperatures. So you really only need to worry about a heater, in regards to the fish that you want to keep in your tank. So, could you talk about any difficulties with growing the Madagascar lace plant? I really want one and only have a medium tech tank, no CO2. Actually, Madagascar lace plants do not really require CO2. They don't require high light. They just pretty much like nutrient-rich substrate. That's pretty much it. I've grown Apongiton plants or Madagascar lace plants in tanks that have absolutely nothing on them. I've grown one years ago in a 30-gallon tank that I just had gravel. I had a lot of goldfish in there, so they're pooping like crazy, which probably was good for the plant. Gave it a lot of natural fertilizer. But the lighting over this tank was nowhere near appropriate for growing aquatic plants. And I wasn't dosing any nutrients, nothing, and it still grew. So Apongiton plants and Madagascar lace plants, of course, they're pretty much the same thing. They're great in for low tech tanks or medium tech tanks, as you said. So they don't really require CO2 to grow. So I think you should be just fine if you want to grow them in your tank. So, any tips on combating cyanobacteria? Well, I know cyanobacteria is often referred to as blue-green algae, and I talked about this in a previous live stream, and there's a product that I used, which I'm looking it up right now. Got to sign into my Amazon account. There's a product I used to get rid of this stuff. Because I pretty much gave up on any other method out there. When I had problems with blue-green algae, it was the most frustrating thing because I tried everything that everybody recommended on the internet, and no matter what I did, it still kept growing and it would come back. So here's the stuff right here. I'm going to switch to my computer screen. This is called Blue Green Slime Stain Remover. It's made by Ultra Life Reef Products, although this is something you can use for freshwater tanks as well. See, it says right here, effectively removes or whatever from freshwater aquariums. So it says Blue Green Slime Stain Remover. It should just say this stuff takes care of cyanobacteria. Because this is like the only product that I could find that would actually kill or remove blue-green algae. So this stuff comes in a powder form that you just dump into your tank according to the directions on the package, and within a matter of, I think it took my tank, I think, about 1 to 2 weeks for all the blue-green algae to just die. It basically turned white and it just floated away, got sucked into my filtration system. So I would say it takes a good maybe a week or 2 weeks. Now it does say on the bottle, zoom in right here, it says may affect pH, so you definitely got to watch out for that. So if you have really sensitive fish like discus or cichlids that are really sensitive to pH swings, you want to make sure that you monitor your pH as you use this product. But yeah, this is the product I use to get rid of blue-green algae. from my previous Planet Aquarium, and it worked like a miracle. It was great, and it was the best product I could ever find because I tried so many other methods and I could just not get rid of this stuff. So yeah, it's currently on Amazon for $14.17. I'll copy the link for you and I'll put it in the chat right now so you can go check it out. But yeah, $14.17. Of course, if you have Amazon Prime, you can get it shipped to you for free. I don't though, so I have to pay, what is it, like $8 for shipping. So, um, so yeah, that is blue-green slime remover, and it's really good stuff. Jacob, any tips on Java Moss walls? Java Moss walls. Well, I mean, I've never done that before. Never grown a Java Moss mall. Java Moss mall. Java Moss wall. But I would say that you probably just need to work out how you're gonna light the bottom portion of the wall, because I would say as the top portion of the Java Moss wall grows outwards, it will probably shade the Java Moss growing below it. So you probably either need to trim it accordingly or work out your lighting so that the whole wall is illuminated, or else you might get some die off of moss growing at the very bottom of the wall, close to your substrate, or you'll just experience slow growth and then the wall will look uneven. It'll look kind of weird. So you just got to work out your lighting so that it properly illuminates the Java Moss wall. But other than that, that's pretty much all I can think of as far as a quick tip about that. So but yeah, that's cool. I've seen people do moss walls, and it's actually really interesting because typically in a planted tank, if you're just using like stem plants or whatever, you're relying on those plants purely to fill in the back of your tank. But with the Java Moss wall, it's like the whole thing is full of just this mossy plant. And once it gets growing and your other plants get growing around it, it looks really natural. It looks really cool. So it looks awesome. I've seen plenty of really awesome looking tanks on YouTube that have moss walls in them. They look really nice. Do you have pet birds? Because I do. Unfortunately, I don't anymore. I did, but not anymore. Best way to sink driftwood? Well, tie a rock to it. That's all I can think of. With driftwood, a lot of people will soak it in a bucket of water for about 2 weeks so that it gets fully absorbed with water, and so when they put it in their tank, it just sinks to the bottom. Oh my God. Hold on, sorry. What an idiot. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, like I was saying, so people will soak driftwood in a bucket of water for up to 2 weeks, and that will get it nice and soaked so that when you put it in your tank, it just sinks. So you can do it that way, or like I said, you can just tie a rock to it. The famous Takashi Amano, I'm not sure what his methods were, but in plenty of videos that I've seen where he's created tanks, he pretty much just dropped the driftwood in there, threw some rocks around it, tied some plants on it, and it stayed down perfectly fine. So I don't know what the master did there. But that's why I recommend tying a rock to it, because I figured that's what he was doing. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe there's something else he was doing. But yeah, I mean, I would suggest if it's Malaysian driftwood, soaking it for sure, because Malaysian driftwood is really easy to soak, and for it to get nice and heavy so it sinks in your tank. And also you want to soak Malaysian driftwood to get out all the tannins as well. Unless you want tannins in your aquarium. Tannins actually add a natural effect to planted tanks. So for like manzanita wood, that stuff floats really, really easily. So you definitely want to have that weighted down or tied down. Or you can soak it too. There's tons of different ways. But yeah, soaking it would be probably the easiest and most guaranteed way that it'll stay down in your aquarium. So, do you sell rocks at your nursery? I don't, but I will soon. I will soon. I actually just became an ADA retailer about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I haven't bought any products yet to sell, but I do plan on selling their tissue culture plants. I do plan on selling their substrate, obviously, the famous ADA Aqua Soil Amazonia. I want to get some of their rocks because actually they have a lot of really, really nice hardscape on their that they offer that I can sell at my nursery. Let me pull up their website so I can show you guys. Yeah, by the way, I was really excited to become a ADA retailer because, of course, this whole thing started. The whole Planet Tank, everything started with this company. This is the company that the famous Takashi Amano built. So of course, I will be selling the substrates. AD Aqua Soil Amazonia. It's a great soil. It's just like the best I've ever used. But I will also be selling their tissue culture plants. So they have a lot of different species. Some species actually that aren't even offered as regular plants in America. So you pretty much, if you want this type of plant, you're pretty much forced to buy it as a tissue culture. So I guess that's one advantage of the tissue culture plants is introducing new varieties of plants into the hobby that you wouldn't be able to get as a regular plant from some other retailer or from this retailer too. But they actually have a lot of really cool regular plants as well. But yeah, their tissue culture plants are cool. They have a lot of different ones like this one, Ludwigia repens gladulosa. I've never heard of that plant before, but I'd love to grow it. So I'd love to actually sell it too because it looks really nice. So I want to get that growing in the pond. That's for sure. But yeah, I'll be selling their tissue culture plants. I'm not sure about their filtration systems because I don't know if my customers would spend this kind of money, like $600 on a filter system. I don't really think I have any really high-end customers like that. Because that's a lot of money. So I probably won't sell their CO2 systems or their filtration systems. I might sell their tanks though, because the tanks are, they're expensive, but for what they are, they're reasonably priced. For example, if you wanted to start like, I think this is 10 gallons right here. Is it? Oh no, that's 48. Wait. Why is it only $85? That doesn't make sense. Oh, that's the wooden crate that ships in. The real price is $499. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, their tanks are a little pricey, but for what you get, still it's a good price. And of course the tank is everything. If you don't have a planted tank that has crystal clear glass so you can appreciate your aquascape, you don't have anything. So the tank is the most important thing. So for some of my customers that want tanks with really good clarity, really good visibility, you'll definitely be able to buy those from me someday because I'm going to work on getting those. But for the most part, I'll start out with their live plants, their tissue culture plants, and their substrate as well. Of course, the aqua soil, and I'll probably sell their substrate additives as well because the additives are really, really good. Really, really good stuff. So yeah, I'm an ADA retailer, so I'll be getting some stuff soon. But yeah, some of the stuff, like even for me, it's just too much money. Like the the canister filter, like $600. Oh my God, I don't know if I could spend that kind of money. So yeah, I'll definitely. Oh, I forgot to show you the rocks. What is wrong with me? We were talking about the hardscape, and I just got into other stuff. Okay, back to the website. Okay, layout material. I think it's under here. Yeah. So they actually have driftwoods too. So nice. Branchwood, branchwood right there. Hornwood, funny name. Slim wood. There's a lot of wood on their website. Okay, so they're rocks. So yeah, they have dragonstone right here, which is very beautiful stuff. Keystone, Manton stone, Koke stone, Pahai stone, Okoho stone, Ryuho stone, Sansui stone, Seruryu stone, Unzan stone, Yamama. Oh wait, no, how do you say that? Yam Ayaya stone. Anyways, these rocks and hardscape, I'll definitely try to get some of that as well. So yes. We'll be getting some ADA stuff pretty soon, in the very near future. Okay. Back to your question. Sorry, guys, I've been neglecting the chat, haven't I? What's wrong with Fluval? Absolutely nothing. I love Fluval stuff. How much would their CO2 systems be? Ooh, probably pricey. Just the, let's see. Actually, you know what? They sell a regulator on their website that is reasonably priced, actually, compared to other regulators from other websites. You can see it right here. They have this one for $119. Really great price, which I think is a really great deal because, like, the one from Greenleaf Aquariums, for example, is like, my gosh, astronomically priced, 200 some odd dollars. So their CO2 systems aren't really too expensive compared to, the standard out there. But 120 bucks for the regulator. They also have a bunch of different adapters and things you can use, bubble counters and stuff. The regulator. So if you want to do an ADA, CO2 system, the regulator is 120 bucks, and then you would need to diffuse it into the water, or you need a bubble counter too. So $70 for that, and then to diffuse it into the water, you need a ceramic disc diffuser. So 100. So you're probably looking at least 350 bucks, possibly $400 for a CO2 system if you did all ADA. So actually, maybe it's a little more than the average out there. Because you could get away with buying a cheap bubble counter on eBay or something, a cheap diffuser from Greenleaf Aquariums. Yeah. So and then you still have to figure the cost of the tank, the CO2 tank, and to fill it up with CO2 gas. So it might be a little pricey. So actually, never mind. It's not cheaper. But yeah, if you want to do an all ADA CO2 system, it would probably be around 350, 400 bucks, probably around there. So, I am from Japan, but I think the ADA is too expensive. Oh, okay. So, thanks for answering my question about the rocks. Yeah, no problem. Is there any floating plant that doesn't spread like duckweed but still removes nitrates as well? Hmm. That's a tough one. A floating plant that doesn't spread out and block all of your light like duckweed but still removes nitrates. Help me out, guys. Help me out with this question. Pothos is a broadleaf plant will grow immersed. Okay, maybe. Water lettuce. Maybe. Amazon Frogbit is great alternative to duckweed. Okay, Amazon Frogbit, someone's recommending that. Two people have recommended water lettuce, so I guess so. Water lettuce it is. One that I could think of right now would probably be either Anacharis or Actually, no, all I can think of is Anacharis, because Anacharis grows like a weed, regardless of what environments or what environment it's in. Um, I've never grown it floating though, so I don't know how it would grow as a floating plant. But I would imagine because it's just such a low demanding plant, it requires minimal care. Um, that's my ringtone. Sorry, it requires minimal care. I would say that it would probably grow fine as a floating plant. Um, I think I have to answer this call. Hold on. Sorry about that. uh, People calling me. Leave me alone. I'm busy. Yeah, I'm not leaving the mic on. That's a private conversation. Okay. Back to I just did a big business deal. Yeah. Yep. I did a big business deal with Donald Trump. I bought one of his buildings to turn into a giant aquarium store that's 50 stories tall. No. Um. Mm-hmm. 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 Jacob, have ever kept killfish? No, I've seen them though plenty of times. They look beautiful. Yellowing leaves on startage and repens. What could I be lacking? Nutrients, or you could be giving it too much light. Just depends. Your Grammys are great in the pond. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, they're beautiful. I love them. They're so pretty. The coloration is like much different than your average aquarium fish. Oh my gosh, we've only got 7. Okay, I'm really bad at math. Wait, 8, 9, 10. Okay, yeah. We only got 8 more minutes left of the live show, guys, so get those questions in. The show usually goes for an hour, so it's so funny I say show, like this is a show. It's like I'm such a famous person. This is a famous show. I should just say this live stream. Yeah, so the stream is usually an hour, so we have about 8 minutes left, guys. So get those questions in if you haven't asked them already. Do you sell dwarf variety of plumeria? Yes, I do actually. Not on my website though, only at my nursery. For those you guys that don't know, I actually have another website, and it's called jacobsplumerias.com. And I'm just talking about this because somebody brought it up in the chat room. So I have another website called jacobsplumerias.com, and this is the website that I sell my other plants that I grow at my nursery on. Mostly my plumerias, because it says Jacob's Plumerias. So I sell plumerias on this website. Unfortunately, I'm all sold out because plumerias are more of a seasonal item, so I don't really have any for sale right now that I can ship. I have a lot for sale at my nursery, but I really don't have anything small enough to ship. They're all too big. They're big plants. But yeah, this is my other website for those of you guys that didn't know about it. jacobsplumerias.com. Have a bunch of stuff on here. Of course, thing for my nursery, so you know where my nursery is. I have tips and tricks on how to grow plumerias as well. So yeah, if you get the chance, check it out. It's a cool website. And of course, during the summertime when everything is going with the plumerias, the website will be full of plumerias for sale. So we'll have some of those back in stock come this summer. You look good today. I probably look better because I shaved. I was getting a little out of control, so definitely had to take care of that. Hey Jacob, do you sell UG? I don't know what UG is. I don't know what you mean. If you said OG, I'd be like, yeah, I got some of that OG. But no, I don't sell that either. Do you sell Anacris marijuana? Okay, is that a joke? Anacris marijuanas? Because it sounds very similar to another plant that I know people cut up and, roll up and smoke. Are you pulling my chain here? Yeah, I figured you would. You were. Person of interest says experiencing crypto melt. It hurts. Yeah, crypt plants typically on the internet are sold as in their immersed grown, state. So when you grow them submerged in a planted tank, they have to transition. And during that transition, they will melt. That's almost a guarantee. But they'll grow new leaves, and they'll look great. It just takes a little bit. They look a little crappy for 2 weeks, but then they blossom new leaves and they look great. If your cryptocoryone is melting, and it's been growing in your tank already, well, then you might want to think about the nutrients you're dosing. If you're not dosing any nutrients, then you definitely want to consider dosing nutrients, because the biggest reason plants melt is because they're not getting enough nutrients. They're not getting the nutrition they need to stay healthy. Like if we don't get the right nutrition, we get sick. We don't melt like plants. We don't melt like the Wicked Witch of the West. Or is it East? I think it's West. I haven't watched The Wizard of Oz in the longest time, so I need to refresh on that. But yeah, nutrients is the biggest issue when it comes to melting plants. So, Jacob, I went to high school with you. You did? What's your name? I don't remember having tropical happy fish as a friend in high school. Crypts always melt. It always comes back to, yeah, that's pretty much what I said. Do the plants need more fertilizers than fish poop? Some do, some don't. There's some plants that can grow great in a planted tank, and you can simply rely on the waste produced from your fish to keep the plants, happy and healthy. Those plants would be, the low-tech plants, the really easy to grow plants. But if you're asking if you can grow like demanding plants, relying on just purely the waste from your fish, I would say no, because more demanding plants, like for example dwarf baby tears, they need nutrients. They need CO2. So not necessarily. You can't share your name online, but you did. You remember me? Okay. Send me a message on Facebook. I'd love to reconnect with you if you went to high school with me. I mean, I don't think I actually talk to any of my high school friends anymore because it's been so long. But yeah, send me a message on Facebook. It'd be nice to reconnect and actually know who you are, know your name. Do I sell starter gym wrap-ins? I have some growing in the pond right now. It'll probably be ready, I would say, in about 2 weeks, around there. I'm just waiting for it to get a little bit bigger. Jacob, can you keep a female beta fish with a Grammy? I have a 20-gallon long. I wouldn't recommend that. Grammys can be pretty territorial. Housing a Grammy with a beta, I don't know if that would work. Franzer, why so many dislikes? Well, maybe because you use 20 accounts to dislike my live stream. I don't know. Usually the person that asks why so many dislikes is the person that actually did it. How would you recommend handling an algae spurt in an aquarium? Well, to handle algae, I just recommend, stocking a tank full of plants, because the more plants you have, the more excess nutrients that are being consumed. If you're starting a tank with like 1 or 2 plants, you're going to have algae problems regardless, and a lot of algae problems. But when you start a tank full of plants, it's just so much easier to keep algae under control. But I mean, if you get a really bad bloom of algae in your tank just out of nowhere, and your tank is established, you have a ton of plants in your tank, just look at, try to see what's changed in your aquarium. Have you done something to the filtration system? Is your tank being illuminated longer? Is your timer for your lights messed up? Just look at those things, because aquariums only grow algae because they're receiving too much light, too much nutrients, or the tanks having to recycle, the filtration bioload is all messed up. Those are pretty much the only things that can make that happen. So check out those things, and I think you'll be able to figure out the problem. So thank you guys so much for watching this live stream. It has come to that time to say goodbye. I'm so glad we had this time together. If you guys have seen the Carol Burnett show, you know the song that I'm singing right now. But anyways, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching the live stream. Don't forget, okay, if you guys are setting up a new tank, or you want to rescape your tank, visit jacobsaquarium.com, where I have a ton of plants for sale, all at very reasonable prices, which, by the way, I know a lot of them say sold out, but I am getting a shipment coming this week. So I will be restocking pretty much all of these plants, and we'll have all of them back in stock. And also for the Apongaton plants, I have some of them. I actually already have all of these, but I'm just waiting for them to grow. So that's why they say coming soon to a theater near you, because I'm waiting for them to grow bigger. But these plants will actually be ready soon. I actually just got this one ready, though. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture of it yet, but Aponogeton, oh boy, let's see if I can pronounce this. Boivinianius, that plant. I have that one available now, and I just made that available on the website because it just got big enough to sell. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous plant, so I will get a picture of it on the website as soon as I can. But yeah, visit jacobsaquarium.com for all your aquatic plant needs. Of course, if you're looking for lighting or fertilizer, not those needs, but if you're looking for plants, I have plenty of them to choose from. Okay. Also, don't forget to sign up for the newsletter so you can receive updates and special offers about everything that's going on with Jacob's Aquarium. Okay. And of course, I'd really appreciate it if you guys visit my Facebook page, facebook.com/jacobsaquarium. Okay. All right. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back in another live stream very, very soon. I try to do these as often as I can, but as you can imagine, I'm a really busy guy. So I will try to do these as often as I can, though. Have fun with your tanks, everybody. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time.